أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We are continuing with our study of Surah Al-Kahf, and it is from the 60th ayah that we have started this session. And the 60th ayah was وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ لَا أَبْرَحَ حَتَّى أَبْلُغَ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ أَوْ أَمْضِيَ حُقُبًا. So Musa al-Islam is showing his resolve. He's saying to his young companion, Fatah, as mentioned earlier, is a young man. Interestingly, the word Fatah is very much closely related to the word Fatwa. Fatwa is when you give a decision, when you make a decision. And Fatah means a young man who's reached the age where he can decide for himself. So you can say adolescence. So in modern terms, an age where you are allowed to make transactions for property, for example, buying and selling things, buying a new car, driving a car, or getting married, holding a job, or voting. So maybe 18 years or so in our modern terms, that would be a fatah, a man who can make a fatwa, who can make a decision, and a well-informed, educated decision. So this young man who's accompanying Musa al-Islam, who according to narrations from the hadith is Yusha bin Nun, or Joshua, he says to him that I am going to continue this search and continue to travel till we reach that Ablagha Majma al-Bahrain, that junction of the two bodies of water, even if I spend decades in it. The important message from here is that Allah Ta'ala is showing the dedication of Moses. That when you have made an aim to do something in life according to the will of Allah, and when you've dedicated your efforts to Allah, then you should persevere, you should continue your effort, and don't set any timelines that if I don't reach this goal by this so-and-so time, I'll give up. Or I get too tired, I'll give up. No. Allah has the results in His hands. Human beings only have efforts. We are only told to do the effort. The result belongs to Allah. And on the Yawmul Qiyamah, the day of judgment, we will be judged for our efforts, not for the results. So if your effort is to find a cure for a disease, and you put all your life and decades into it, but you do not achieve it, you are not going to be held responsible for that. The achievement is in the hands of Allah. And you would be rewarded for your effort. So what happens when they reach that Majma al-Bahrain? We already talked about where these bodies of water might have met and what different legends and stories have developed from this. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَجْمَعَ بَيْنَهِمَا نَسِيَ حُوتَهُمَا فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا. Now suddenly the story takes a twist. When they reached this area where the two bodies of water meet, and it's not a small area, it's a big area, like if the two oceans are meeting, that can go on for hundreds of kilometers. And they reach there, they forget their fish. Now where does the fish come from? In the hadith, it has been explained that when Musa al-Islam went on this journey, Allah Ta'ala told him to take some fish with him in a basket. And the point where that fish would disappear would be the point where they will meet the person who is seeking, who has got a knowledge which Musa al-Islam does not have, and he is supposed to learn from him. Now, this fish, of course, fish is something that rots away very quickly. If you put fresh fish in a basket and you travel, you won't be gone very far. Within a day, it's going to start to rot. So we know this was a preserved fish. In some of the riwayas of the hadith, it said it was salted fish. Even now, people who travel with food, especially seafood, they salt it, they preserve it. And in other riwayas said maybe it was cooked and salted fish. So they reach there, and they've probably been consuming part of that fish as their food on the way. And maybe Musa al-Islam thought that once I run out of fish is the place where I will meet this person. But when they reach there, they forget the fish. Nasiya hutahuma. And the verb used here says both of them forgot the fish. So both of them forgot that basket with the fish in it. فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا. And that fish from that basket, it took a path into the water. So from dry land where they were, both of them were, it took a path into the water, and the term used here is saraba. Now sarab is from sarab, and sarab is actually a mirage, when you see something and you can't believe. And sabil is the way, the path. So it takes a path, it's like a mirage. It's like you can see a fish going out of the basket and going straight into the water and traveling on the surface of the water and leaving some waves behind. And it is almost unbelievable. It's like a mirage. You see it's happening, but you don't believe it's happening. It's like an illusion. You think it's an illusion. So what happened was that Musa alayhi salam and Yusha bin Nun, they both had taken rest against a rock. So they have slept and taken some rest. And they both forgot the fish there. And the fish went out, making a path, and went straight into the water. And Yusha ibn Nun saw it, but he forgot to mention it to Musa alayhi salam. And we'll see in the next ayah how that happened. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَ قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ آتِنَا غَدَانَا. So when they've traveled much farther from that point where the fish had disappeared, قَالَ, Musa alayhi salam says, لِفَتَاهُ, to the young man, to his young man, آتِنَا غَدَانَا, give us our meal. If we want to be very precise, it's a midday meal. لَقَدْ لَكِينَ مِنْ سَفَرِنَا هَذَا نَسَبًا. Undoubtedly in this journey, safar, we have become very tired. Now, Musa alayhi salam is known to be a person who's physically very fit, and he doesn't get tired easily. So it's just to show that he had really traveled very far, so far that he had even started to convince himself, saying that even if it takes decades, I'm going to keep on traveling. And then on that certain day, they had definitely traveled a lot. They got tired. They took some rest against a rock. They got up and they went again. And he says, let's bring out our food. We are very tired. Now, Yusha ibn Nun, what does he say? Qala, Yusha ibn Nun says, أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ. Would you believe it? When we took that rest against the rock, when we slept and had a little nap against the rock, إِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ, I forgot about the fish. وَمَا أَنْسَيْنَاهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانِ أَنْ أَذْكَرَهُ وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا. And no one but Satan can make me forget it. And it took its way into the water in a very strange way. How strange? In fact, he says, وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا. Have you not seen how strangely it took its way into the water? Now, here it seems that Yusha ibn Nun, when he woke up, he saw the fish going into the water. But when you wake up from a deep sleep, you see things, often you think they are illusions. You don't remember, or you don't believe in them. You say, well, my vision is faulting me. So that's what happened with Yusha ibn Nun. And he said, oh, I saw it going into the water, but the devil made me forget it. I forgot to mention it to you because probably he thought it's just an illusion. Why should I mention it to Musa alayhi salam? I saw a fish going into water. And the way it traveled into the water and he saw that mirage or illusion, he also felt that Musa alayhi salam also saw that event happening. He saw the same mirage that Yusha ibn Nun is seeing. So that's probably why he's saying, Araita is the wayna ila sakhrata. Did you not see or did you not believe when we were resting and this happened? So he got confused. He saw an illusion. He saw something move on the water. He saw the fish going out and moving on to the water. And he probably looked at Musa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam looking in the same direction, and he thought maybe Musa alayhi salam is also able to see this strange phenomenon on the water. But he forgot to mention it to Musa alayhi salam. And here also there's a bit of indication that he's a bit afraid of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam's anger is well known. So he brings in the mention of shaitan and saying, shaitan made me forget it. And there's no other way. I can't make any other reason why I forgot this from happening. And when he says that, then Musa alayhi salam says, قَالَ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي فَارْتَدَّ عَلَىٰ آثَارِ مَا قَصَصَ. So Musa alayhi salam, he exclaims, ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي. This was the place we were looking for. this is the place we were seeking, where the fish would disappear. Now it makes sense. We thought we'll run out of fish and then we'll reach that place. But in actuality, the fish became alive and went into water. It disappeared. So that's what Allah Ta'ala had told him, to go to the place at the junction of the two bodies of water where the fish would disappear. You'll find this person. So what do they do? فَارْتَدَّ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا قَصَصًا. So now they are retracing their steps. فَارْتَدَّ is retracing. عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا, their steps. قَصَصًا, step by step. So they are going back where their footprints are. They're trying to see, because it's on the seaside, in the sand, their footprints, and they are going back, tracing their steps, making sure they don't miss it, and they reach the very same point where they had lost the fish. And this miracle which Allah Ta'ala is showing to Musa alayhi salam is actually the start of some very incredible things which are going to happen. So the start of the journey, Allah Ta'ala is showing them something which is unbelievable. A dead fish, salted, cooked, coming to life and moving back into the water from the land, like making a tunnel, leaving some waves in its wake while it moves. All of this, the journey is starting with an incredible kind of a sighting, which is almost an illusion and almost a mirage to them. But this is a warning for things to come, that you're going to see more things which you will find to be unbelievable. And Allah Ta'ala is going to get them that experience through that man, Khidr, whom they meet. One last thing I want to say, that because of this fish coming to life at the junction of the two rivers, the myth has evolved, which is not certified by Quran or Hadith, that at that point there was a source of water which was the eternal fountain of life and youth. So whoever drank that water, he became alive and he lived forever, and it gave youth to him. And the fish probably came in contact with that water and it became alive and it traveled back into the water. And from there, a lot of myths have come that Khidr has also drank that water and he also lives eternally. But these things are not certified by the Quran or Hadith. And these are older myths of the fountain of youth and fountain of life, which were always present before and have later on were incorporated into the Islamic teachings, especially into this story. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll do more of the Surah Al-Kahf, and we'll talk about when they meet Khidr alayhi salam and how that meeting goes, and what are the dialogues which happen before them and before they start their journey. What are the preconditions that Khidr alayhi salam lays down for Musa alayhi salam to accompany him. Jazakallah khair.